Hi everybody. So for this video that I'm doing, it's actually for my MGT 410 class or course, and I had to do this for my week 5 assignment. And for the week 5 assignment, it's my service project presentation. And on that first slide I have is my name, my instructor, and the date. And then I will put the link down below for it in that first one. For my second slide I have is selecting the organization. So what I did was that I ended up searching online for this organization and I came across it. And with this organization, they actually have school districts that can come for field trips. There's a lot of staff members that come or volunteers that come too. And they actually do projects with the parents and the children. There's robotics and Dino Ball and Dino Wing. That are some events. Then we have there, when I did go, they had was fundraisers and raffles, and other stands for outreach to raise money. There was 50 to 100 workers at best, but when I did see it, I believe it was like 20 or 30 people working that very day when I was there. And then there was other people coming in doing other things for setting up. And then there was, on average, when I asked the manager, she said there's about 300 to 800 people that visit this organization. So when I did go, I had to serve some hours for the community, and it was at the Las Vegas Science and Natural Museum. And I was actually a volunteer, and I did 4 hours there alongside a lady named Abigail, and I helped her do a project, which was the spider webs, where we had a cup, and there's the spider webs where you can make it with the yarn and the little needle. But then the parents can do it and the children can do it too. And they can choose whichever color they wanted. Also, this was for comic book week when I did go. So we were thinking of even spiderwebs, so Spider-Man. Also, we had pictures there on the table. And it was showing different pictures of how they get caught into the tree. So we had to talk about all the arachnids and how that would happen. Also, what we did was that our mission was to mostly educate everybody on what our project was. For the Robert K. Greenleaf questions, so this one was for slide 4, was talking about how the people would serve, and I said yes to this because people can serve by doing the heavy lifting on things in the workplace. They can actually help with teamwork, with tasks, and doing good deeds. The other one is what is the effect on the least privileged in society. So I feel like it's a lack of supplies and resources that are needed to do different materials and projects. But then even if we do build together and have the opportunity to go and do these, it's actually good because we can still lead, we can still be together in groups, and then we can develop how these can still be helpful when you're doing it in the society. The other one is, will they benefit or at least not be further deprived? And I said yes, because with the benefits we have are like leaders, because they're very wise, they're courageous. Some can be mean, some could be nice, but then they're not doing it out of spite. It's mostly of understanding how to do the ropes, mostly growing, following, and power, and learning. So I feel like even when I was doing it at the museum, I was learning from people. People were serving in different organizations. It was mostly teamwork is what I can get from these questions when I was working at the museum. and more so on building too. Okay, so for my fifth slide, it was for servant leadership skills and influences. So the two that I chose was stewardship and listening, because with the stewardship at the museum, it was mostly understanding the standards and the rules and the goals of what the mission was, and helping everybody that comes in, making sure that you do the project, making sure that everything was nice and clean. And then with the training wise, it really wasn't a lot of training. It was just trying to keep up and follow along. The other one was listening to all the staff members, making sure that everybody was in sync and connecting on what's going on. And it was really diverse. And then the influence was mostly supporting each other at every step of the way. And even when we did all the projects, everybody enjoyed doing them. And then I have was the T.W. Lewis notion of Christian philosophy and its 4 W's. And with this one, we had to compare all of them. And so what I did was that I thought of how all of them is more so as business wise. It takes up seeing on both sides how they're hard workers. It's more so on information, understanding the knowledge and the background, and then having different cultures that we can see. But then when you think more into it, in the organizations being like, okay, it being like the beliefs there, the values are there, supporting the people, showing the wisdom, having a purpose and a mission in an organization. So even when I was there, even at the museum, I was thinking of the who, what, when, and wheres, because it was like an historical building. There was visitors there. We had to value how they would come in, greeting and everything, they're experiencing, knowing what to say, and then mostly giving back in the organization is what I've learned when I was at the museum. But then also understanding how the impact was really good, because it was actually a positive one. Everybody was very nice and caring, so it was nice. But then with the 4 W's, I broke it down for who, what, when, where, but then thinking of the wealth, the will, the wisdom, the witnessing, because even when I experienced all of these, I could see how even with the manager, she was very knowledgeable of understanding all of her staff members, understanding who had to do each position, where you had to be, and understanding like the ins and outs of it. So it was really nice to know that. And then for my next one was the relationship of servant leadership, beliefs and values and takeaways. So it kind of combines more into the servant leadership on how they have their backgrounds, understanding each other in that background, connecting with a bunch of people that are different and is very diverse, understanding how the values can support even our beliefs, if we've believed in anything, if we were to like serve. And then the takeaways from this was that even when you're like in this role as a servant leader, you still have to understand that it's an organization, there's a mission that has to be done, it's a purpose that's going to be good, and you're helping people. For my 8th and 9th slide, there's pictures of me when I was at the museum and the lady I was working with, who was Abigail. And then I had more pictures on that slide as well, of taking of the fish and the deer. And then my last slide was the reference page. And on this page is where I used my reference, if there was any in there. And I ended up pasting it on there. But yeah, it was a fun time when I was at the museum. But I hope you guys enjoyed all the information in the video.